Hey y'all, what's up? My name is Tom Mizzle. You watch my channel Mizzle 14, and I'm here in the review of Law and Order SVU Season 20, Episode 2. Let's jump right into it. Like I stated last week, I'm just gonna do just the main story. I'm not gonna go into any of the side stories that happen with some of the people in their individual lives. I'm not gonna go into that. I'm just gonna do the main thing and talk about that. Now, we had got Will, and it was a young girl. A guy had this young daughter saying it was his daughter. Got in the cab. The guy was frantic. The cab driver was frantic. Was like, "Is she okay? What's going on?" He said, "Take me to the hospital. It's my daughter." So got to the hospital, and then all of a sudden, the guy dumped the girl off the thing and told the driver to drive off. He said, "What you doing? Just keep her moving." So just left the girl with a wrapped up blanket and all that stuff. So it's come to find out the girl name is Delata, and she's in the hospital bed, and they questioning her, Carissy and Lieutenant Benson, and say what was going on and what happened. And they say that she had a pill, she had some drugs and everything going on, and that they said she had sexual trauma and everything, and vagining everything, trying to do wet cut, but she refused to do that. She refused to talk a little bit, so they talked a little bit, and she mentioned that she had a guy named Uncle Luke, not really her uncle, but he loves her and he take care of her, and she probably don't want to wrap him out. So they had this Uncle Luke character going on. So they had to find out who was the video thing, because they had a video tape of the cab that dropped it over. What happened? So they enhanced the picture and find out the license plate number to find out who's the cab driver. So they went to the cab driver, talked to the cab driver. He's like scared as out of his mind because he thought they was going to deport him back out of his country. He worked hard. He's an immigrant. He said, "Nah, I just thought I just want to know who the guy drove and what he looked like, the description." And he described the guy a little bit. And he said he picked him up off this address at this thing next to this pizza spot. So they went to the area, knocked on a couple of doors. This old lady said, "Oh yeah, I know him. They got Vince over there." And then this lady, she Airbnb in her apartment, and this guy named Vince is there. So they got Vince, look at the thing, find a shoe, and he said, "No, hold up, this is not your shoe. What you doing?" He's making all the lies that he had the conference, all that stuff, and then they took him to the thing of rape, charged and arrested him for rape, and then he explained that they were trying to get information for her. How do you get this lady girl? How do you get this girl? Because it's not your daughter, nothing like that. And why you would drop her off and said like that? You think you would get brownie points for dropping her in the hospital? You just left her there with a wrapped up blanket. And then it said that his wife was calling him, and then somebody named Billy was calling him, and they said, "Oh, you're not getting your calls unless you telling me exactly what we want. Who is this person that give you this content?" So they said this guy named Luke. He contacted the guy named Luke, and he followed them on the back page. Remember Luke, and got this information, and got the girls like that. So they decided to make a undercover kind of sting that Finn was gonna go undercover and like act like he wanted to buy one of the girls to have as a companionship for the night. And Carissa and Vincent was looking out, staking out. And I said, "Oh my God, they sex trafficking the girls." So they met Luke, gave the money, all that stuff. He took him to the back, and it was young girls, like 14, 13, 12 years old and everything, in there looking for things, getting look like they trained, they accustomed to get picked and do what gotta do whatever Luke is telling them to do. And it's like, oh my gosh, I don't understand the sickening in the minds of people that will freaking sell girls for money. And not just girls, this is young teenage girls who don't have their families in their lives or something like that right now, and the family's not around. They might be looking for them, might be thinking they missing, and then they get taken away, and they go do sex traffic, and people paying to do stuff with the females. It's like this girls. It's like it's sickening. Like I don't understand how people would do some type of things like this. So they're looking at, and for a while, then they saw a young little girl in the thing. She was very scared out of mind. Said, "What about her?" She said, "Oh, that's a special case. You don't deal with her." And she was in the cage, and everybody was out, and he said, "Can pick her?" And then Finn blew up his cover and said, "I'm the cop." So they got the guy. He was about to run. Benson caught him, and they took him down to the station. And he said, "Oh, he should be proud of me. I picked these girls up. They was abandoned. I picked one. They said one was picked up at the park, one was picked up at the movie theater, one was picked up at a different area. The young girl that was in the cage, she was scared out of her mind, and she said, "Don't take me away again." And so Mizzle was like, "What?" So, and then we find out the little girl name was Gabriella, and Gabriella is scared. She's 9 and 10 years old. And I said, 9 and 10, they get them that early? And the story was really crazy about this. So, they arrested and got the information for Luke. And they say that he thought he was God against Earth, giving them a place to stay, giving them a home, eat food and stuff. But they had to do some services. And they all kind of seemed like they kind of liked him, because they was like, they picked him up at different areas. And that's been at home, so they be staying there. So the girl at Gabriella, she said she missed her mom and she want her mommy. So all of a sudden, they ran if her name in a thing, because they found out her name was Gabriella Santos. Ran her name in a thing and found out she was in a foster care system. So they contact agency, and the parent, two parents that was responsible contacted and find the girl. So they went to the house in New Jersey and they talked to the family, and the family said, "Oh, did you find Gabriella?" And sent a picture, and they said, "Oh my gosh, so love." And the reason why, Luke said he found Gabriella in the Port Authority all by herself. She took the bus and went to Port Authority, and that's it. She was alone. I said, "Oh." But the foster parents said that Gabriella was trouble when they got there. It was like she didn't want to talk at first and everything. They probably trust, and it got her opened up. Then we started having to eat and everything. And then Gabriella asked one of their sons about how you get to Texas and something like that. And he explained to her, but she never thought, they never thought that she was, the son never thought that girl was serious and just asked her father to do that. And they said she don't trust Americans. And he said, why she will not trust? Because she said, with the thing that it was like a whole blowout. And this is what I like about SVU, because they do something that's like in real life and connect to their stories. And that it was showed that Gabriella was separated. It was taken from her mom when she was at the border. So, and then they took Gabriella and then took the mom. And it was like, that's that separation of families. So we gonna have this whole new thing on TV lately about how the Trump administration, anybody that's kid on the border, they were separating the kids and everything. It was a whole uproar. And it was like, how the hell you would do something that's inhumane? That's like sickening. Now you gonna separate your kids from the family like that, treating them and putting them in detention cages, detention cells, and all that stuff because they think they broke the rules because of the border. The kids had nothing to do with that. The parents crossing the border because they want a better life and everything. And you keep the parents and kids together. You don't separate them like that. And putting the kids in thin cages like they fit criminals, and they're not even criminals. They don't even know what's going on. And some girls like Gabriella, 10 years old, she didn't do anything wrong. She don't know. So they separate the baby from the mother. Rest of the mother got the mother somewhere in its thing because it was something happened in her country, Mexico, and something like that. And she's there. It was something in her country. She witnessed something, so she went and ran away. And then I guess a guy dumped her to the border. And then when she got there, federal agent picked her up, and then they separated them from there, and they arrested the mother and took the daughter somewhere. So I was like, oh, this is sad. So she got arrested for basic illegal entry. So the mother is somewhere in Texas, and Gabby is in America, in New York right now. And now it was like, how we gonna keep them together? So they were trying to figure out where this girl could stay because they can't keep her. Wallace was trying to take her, and business saying you can't take her. You obviously can't take her. And I was like, oh, that's sad. I said, I don't know how can I feel if my child be taken away from me like that. And it's like, this is like ridiculous how the country would think that would be okay for that to happen. Think they would be okay. And separate the kids like that. So this girl is so heartbroken, so scared in her mind. So they arranged for a video conference so the mother could speak. And she explained her story, what happened, everything. It gave her a few seconds. and they had Gabriella talk to the mother on the thing, and they had a little conversation, and they were talking in Spanish, and the mom is scared. No, the daughter's scared. She's crying. She said, "Be careful, be strong. You be there for each other. Be strong. Everything be okay." So from there, yeah. So the guy, a fed injury for ORR or something like that, came. He said he gotta come and get Gabriella, and they got the paperwork, and they was like they had no choice. They had to do because the federal agents, they trumps the state and everything, so they had overpower to oversee it in the state. So whatever they need, the state had to follow. So they had to get Gabriella. Gabriella said, "No, don't take me. Don't take him. He was the one that kidnapped me. He the one that took me away from my mother." And they said, "Oh." So they said Bessie did. She arrested the federal agent for kidnapping charges. Now, it's not going to stick because at the end of the day, he's a federal agent. He's doing his job. He said, "You going to arrest me for doing my job?" Because at the end of the day, he had to do what he had to do. And his country told him he had to arrest, he had to take any kids to the detention center. He says like a summer camp. I said, that shit is not no summer camp at all. And the way how we saw the news, when they was in cages, looked like they was freaking criminals in jail or something like that. And sleeping on these little beds. I said, oh, terrible, heartening, and sickening. So she said no, they arrested it. Bessie knows she couldn't win. She couldn't win this case. So ADA, she did a press conference, like a news conference, and it was saying her story and getting her name out there and getting stuff out there, like making a statement, make a political statement to reach out to people and see how inhumane this type of things is. And it needs to be changed. So ADA Stone was coming out. He said, "What you doing?" She said, "Oh, I didn't do it. I didn't arrest him because I knew he was gonna get arrested and a lot of stuff was gonna happen. I didn't arrest him because I want to make a statement." And that's what she did with the thing. And he said, "It's not gonna go through. They're not gonna be happy with that." She said, I know, it's not gonna be the one go through." So they had the little case. And the procedure going, and the lady was speaking her little thing, giving her little loyal facts and cases and numbers and stuff. It was by the book type of person. And ADA Stone and stuff was most on the emotional side. And it was him in the case, and Mr. Got an art book because she said, "This is who quit this. It's like he kidnapped the lady, making her a little criminal, thinking that she the one that criminal, and it took her away and separated from the parent, and she do nothing wrong. How is that justice and stuff?" And it says, "Calm her down." It's like it's very emotional type thing. It's like you can't help to get involved emotionally with this kind of situation because this is not okay for that to happen, and for the country to think that would be okay and make a law for that to happen. And the good thing that Trump they reversed that decision because it was a lot of heat for that. A lot of heat. That's when the time when everybody in the country didn't care what left or right was band together and know that this was a stupid idea and what people thinking they was doing. So the court case came back. The judge ruled that it was not right to be arrested. He got to release the arrested and he got to get the daughter and continue his job. I mean, it kind of knew they lost the battle. She said they lost the battle, but we're not going to lose the war. So he came and he got Gabriella. And they said, told Gabriella, "You gotta be a strong girl. You gotta be strong. We got there. We're gonna be there for you. We're gonna look out." And it is sad. And it's sad that the girl is crying. She's upset. She's scared. Took her back to whatever we had to do. So what they did is like 88 Stone went to talk to somebody, a good friend of his, and they had a little small talk. And 88 Stone told him about the story about his father, about the turtle, and he said, "Oh, he don't have to die." And so, boy was what 88 Stone as a young boy was about the turtle dying. The father said he took one out. He said, "Oh, you don't have to die. He don't have to die. He got to die." And it's kind of got to the guys like, yes, this is messed up, but we could save this girl. We could put this family together. So I guess they arranged something of an asylum they're gonna be staying at or something. And what is that? They will take the girl and reunite the girl with her mother by making some arrangements. It's not the best, perfect idea, but they can live together and they can be together. So they came to the area and the detention area with the military stuff. It's like, gosh, oh, this is strict rules, and they was like, oh, I can't let you go in. I gotta see y'all know and stuff. They said, do me a favor, get whatever, get in there, and got it, and you could. It was terrible sight. It was like a big cages, a box cage, bunch of little things on the floor. Kids are sleeping in it. It was a bunch of kids. You could tell they were taking a lot of kids away from their families. And I said, this is stupid. And so they got the mom. Mom came, saw Gabriella, said, oh my God, they got reunited. It was so touching. That's what happened. They reunited, and she said, thank you. Benson asked the guy, how did he make this happen? She said one of the judges was a friend, and he's from Chicago, and it was a lot of things, and he knew things about that. And he felt by the story, so he made some push throughs and push it through. And I was like, good. That's exactly what it needs to be. But that's how it was. It's like sometimes when stuff like this happen, it's like terrible. Like kids get lost and then they get sold in sex trafficking, and that was hard as it is. Like selling kids like they did properties and commodities, and it's not right to do that. It's really not right at all. And I like this episode because it put light into the situations that have recently happened, and it made it to the part of the storyline how this younger 10 years old was going to be put into the sex trafficking world, or because she was separated and boarded, and she was scared out of mind and don't know what to do just because it was neglect and things, because the country made an order, made a ruling. I was like, wow. But they got the parents, got the family together. But basically, we're looking at all the other kids there and saying, wow, touching. And then she walked up, and that was the end of the episode. But that was Law and Order, y'all. I mean, it was another good episode. Like I said, I'm going to continue doing Law and Order. I'm just going to go straight to the facts and straight to the case and how I feel about it. Like I said, this was very heartwarming and touching, because to see that happening and the emotions that they will go through in this child, they don't understand what's going on for that happen. And you separate it, and you just separate them from the family and just rip them apart like that. It's damage to control, and they all for because you're doing your job. It's like sometimes you got to make a stand, and that's what Benson was doing. She was making a stand, and 88 Stone, and I guess everybody else started to feel the thing. And I guess it started at a time. They lost that battle with the case, but they won little victory, and they're gonna continue going for that. But I can't wait to see y'all next week. Peace.